First of all, very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the program of AWS Solution Architect Associate webinar. Okay, so all are fine? Yes or no? All are good?
Yes.
Yes, all are good.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
ready to learn the new things? Are you excited to learn new things?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So now let's start with the webinar. So very first, we need to understand what is exactly the AWS is. So let me share the screen. So just confirm the screen is visible for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, fine.
Yes,
Good.
it's visible.
Yeah, fine. So basically, guys, what we can do first, we need to understand why we require this AWS. But before that, what is AWS? So as we know, what is AWS? AWS is the cloud provider, cloud services provider. Okay. So before that, just we need to understand one scenario. So what will be the scenario? Now you can see the picture. Picture is visible for everyone. This.
Yes.
So Ajay, yeah, Ajay is working on online shopping portal. Ajay is hosted one web portal. The name of that web portal is online shopping. Now, Ajay purchased the 4 servers. How many servers? 4 servers to handle customers to maintain the application. The Ajay purchased 4 servers. But Ajay thinks that I need to grow the business. I need to offer some discounts, some deals, some sales. So what Ajay will do? So Ajay will arrange some Black Friday sales, some holiday sales, some festival related sales for their online shopping portal to increase the customer, to engage the customer. So the customer is increased, but what will be the thing that will be in case of Ajay? So there's 4 servers are there to handle the load of customer, but these 4 servers are not sufficient now to handle the load of the customers. So what Ajay needs to do? Ajay wants to increase the number of servers, but how? As if Ajay purchase a new server, hardware device or data centers physically, so but definitely it will take a lots of cost because Ajay needs to purchase the server as well as Ajay needs to purchase some configuration devices like networking devices related to that particular server which is required to maintain that application. Some internet kinds of things is required. So all this hardware configuration physical devices are required to purchase along with the server. So that is quite costly, or we can say it is it's take a lots of cost. So what Ajay will thinks, it will be Ajay thinks that any solution can we purchase a server without investing much amount, without investing much cost to purchase the hardware devices. Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. So what will be the solution for Ajay? Ajay can choose the cloud provider, so cloud service provider. So Ajay will choose that AWS, and with the help of this AWS, Ajay is able to increase the number of servers and decrease the number of servers based on the traffic. And the cost will be less as compared to this hardware configurations, purchasing this hardware physical configuration. So that is the thing. So what AWS will do? AWS will provide their own data centers where we can keep our applications, where we can put our application, we can maintain our application, and we can easily increase the number of servers to maintain that application, and we can easily decrease when the number of customers, number of traffic is less. So that is the thing that will be provided by AWS. Now, next question in your mind, guys, why we need to choose this AWS? Why we are not going with other network providers, other cloud service providers, we can say. So there are multiple cloud service providers. So if you see this image, hope this image is visible for everyone. Now you can see these are the multiple different cloud service provider. AWS is there, Azure is there, Google Cloud is there, then Alibaba Cloud is there, Salesforce, IBM Cloud. So there are lots of cloud providers are there. So from this cloud provider, you can see that 31% market is captured by AWS. How much market? 31. So 500 plus company can trust AWS to maintain their application on this data centers. Okay. So data centers are nothing but what it is, a kind of a servers where we can keep our application, where we can keep our application data. Okay, that is called data servers or data centers, we can say. So AWS is 30% capturing the market. It is the leading AWS cloud solution providers. Okay, so that is the way that's why we have to choose this AWS, because 500 plus companies like Netflix, LinkedIn, then BBC, then Airbnb, companies like this are trusted AWS to launch their application, because AWS provide security. We can say security in terms of they can provide the security that no others can access our application by providing virtual private clouds. Okay, then they can provide the flexibility that we can choose any kind of operating system, any kind of hardware configuration that we want as per our application requirement. Then third thing, what they can do is they can provide the scalability feature. What is a scalability feature? So scalability feature means we can easily increase and we can easily decrease the servers as per the traffic control. If traffic increases, we can easily increase the servers. If traffic decreases, we can decrease the server. So that flexibility, that scalability, it should be provided by AWS. And also AWS will provide 200 plus services. How many services? 200 plus services. Now we can quickly recap the things. So AWS will provide the services in different domains, 200 plus services. Okay, so what are the different domains are? The compute domain. So compute means what? Let's say suppose if we need to compute what kind of hardware is required for our application, rather than installing it physically, or we can say rather it installing on our exact machine, local machine. So we can choose that virtual machines, virtual servers from EC2, and by our requirement, we can choose any configuration of the hardware operating system, and then we can keep our application on this AWS cloud. So computing related services like EC2 service is one of the popular service of AWS. Then it will provide the customers engagement related service to increase the customers engagement. Let's say suppose if you want to perform the mail marketing, or some we want to send the notification for our product launches to the customers. So that kind of things will be done with the help of customer engagement service. Then AWS also provide the database related services. So where we can store our data in the database related services. Then after that, security related services. It will also provide the security, identity, compliance services. Databases for storing the data of our application. Then storage services where we can keep the files. Okay. Let's say if I take this, if we consider the example of a Google Drive. So what is that Google Drive? Google Drive is nothing. It is one of the storage, cloud storage that is provided by cloud providers. Okay. But storage services related to the AWS is S3. Okay. There are multiple storage services available by AWS. So it is used basically for the storage. Then management related services AWS provides. Then migration and transfer related services. Then networking related services. So this many services, this many domains, then it will also provide the services for, let's say, if I talk artificial intelligence, machine learning. So each and every aspects of the today's world, every domain, they can provide the services for every customer, for every prospect of customers. So that's why we can choose the AWS. Then after that, we need to discuss AWS provides a lots of certifications. So if I talk about the certification, so what are the different certification that will be provided by AWS? So there are foundational level certification is there, where it contains AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. So it is a very easy certification. Anyone can go with each certification, because if you see, there will be no connection between the different levels of the certification. So there, the foundational certification, if you go with the foundational, you can also choose this one, or directly you can choose associate one. There is no dependency. It will be no dependency. Either you can that, let's say suppose if you want to go with this AWS Solution Architect certification. So there is no dependency that you need to complete the foundational level first. You can directly start with associated certification. So what is the value of this certifications? So after this all certification, what exactly the job market is completely high. Nowadays, there will be higher demand for the AWS certifications. Which one our certification is? Our certificate, the benefit of completing this certification. So if I talk about the benefit, so benefit is nothing, but let's say, suppose if we complete this certification and after that we can approach in the market for job, we get a job of AWS Solution Architect, we get a job of DevOps Architect. Okay, so kind of there are multiple job opening roles are there related to each and every certification, and we get also salary hikes. Okay, and by completing this AWS Solution Architect certification, we can able to understand the services, we can say the hands-on practice on the different services, as well as we are able to design the optimized cost optimized solution for the organization's application by completing those associate certifications. Then it will be the certification for developer as well. AWS certification for developer, then AWS certification for administrator, system administrator. Then it is for, then after that, once you complete this AWS Solution Architects Associate certification, you can choose the professional one as well. You can go with AWS Solution Architect Professional Certificate after completing this Solution Architect certificate. Okay, then after that, DevOps Engineer certification is there. Some security related certifications are there. Networking related certifications are there. You can see for data analytics, for machine learning also they have a certifications. For database specialty also they have a certification. So they have different platforms available for certification. As per our interest, we can choose any one. But why we choose this AWS Solution Architect? Because if we choose this, we can get hands-on multiple services, and also we can able to design a cost effective solution for our organization application. That's why we can choose this AWS Solution Architect Associate certification. So that is about the certification journey. Now I need to talk about the examination. What will be the examination pattern, guys? Suppose if you give this AWS, if we choose this AWS Solution Architect Associate certification, so definitely what we get examination in the format of multiple choice answer questions, MCQ type. But the pattern of an exam will be MCQ type, and there will be 65 questions are there. Okay, when you are completely sure that you will be able to give exam, then and then you can apply for the exam. Because see, so whenever you are 100% sure about your knowledge, then you can apply for your examination. And what is the validity of this certification? 3 years. For each certification, it should be 3 years. It is valid for 3 years. After 3 years, you have to renew the each and every certifications, and the renovation charges will be applied. Okay. Now, this is about the certification journey that we discussed. Now, what we need to do, we need to discuss, there are lots of services that is provided by the AWS. Okay, so as we discussed, why we need to choose this AWS Certified Solution Architect certificate? Because we can get in-depth knowledge of all the services. Then we can get what we can say hands-on experience. Then there are multiple job roles that will be offered by the companies after completing the certification. And we also build a foundation for the advanced level certifications of the AWS. So that is the thing. That's why we can choose this AWS certification. So as we discussed, there are multiple services that is provided by the AWS. So it related to each and every domain. So what we can do is, today in today's webinar, we are focusing on the first and very basic and core service of the AWS, that is IAM. Okay, IAM service. Okay, how far, yes, your question, Sanuti. Okay, how far AWS will be helpful to HR? Yeah, HR, for HR perspective, we can't say, but if you want to switch the careers as per your, for the HR position, it is not, no any certification is there. But if you want to switch your career in case of what we can say, let's say, for example, DevOps, if you're interested in the DevOps domain or security domain, so you can choose that particular certification related as per your interest. But this certification will help for each and every professional to learn and to deep understanding of the AWS services. And after completing the certification, the each and every person or each and every employee is able to generate the cost optimized solution for the applications for your organization. Okay, that is the main benefit. Okay, you get lots of hands-on experience. Yeah, you will get PPT in all this thing, everything. Okay, so don't worry about it now. Just try to we need to focus on our main agenda. So as we discussed, the AWS will provide a multiple services in multiple domains, as we already discussed in previous slide. So we have to focus on the service called IAM. Okay, IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. Okay, so what is exactly that service means? Why we require this service? What is the purpose of this service? What is the need of this service? So let's assume that, suppose if we are working in some organization, and in that organization, let's say suppose if new employees are joined. Okay, though from this new employees, some of the employees are fresher in the cloud domain. Some of the employees are manager. Some of the employees are team leader. We can say fresher or developer. We can say. So there are combination of employees. Some are fresher cloud associates, some are managers, and some are developers. So what we need to do is we need to provide the access to those employees. Okay, let's say in the AWS there are 200 plus services, but we can't give the access of all the services to each and every employee. We can give the access of only the required services for their job function, related to their job function. Okay, let's say suppose some of them is cloud fresher, cloud associate fresher. So we can give the access of the services like EC2, S3, some basic services, IAM service. That access we can provide to those employees. Some of them are developers. If developers are there, then we can provide the development related services access to the developers, right? Then after that, among this, some are managers. So for managers, we can give only read only access to those employees. We can only apply the read only access because they can only read, they can only view whatever their manager is for reporting purpose. Okay, manager will perform reporting kinds of things. So they can just make a report of what kind of work, what kind of service, okay, they can offer or they can choose. Okay, for the food technology also, it is not that much useful. Again, I am answering the same query that will be asked one of the participant, Arun. So if you are from another domain like HR domain or food technology domain, so rather than choosing, I'm not that let's say it's not helpful in your domain, but if you want to switch your career into the AWS fundamentals or AWS certification or services for what we can say the high and job future. So that then at that time it will be useful, but it is not related to food industry or HR industry, we can say. Now, next is identity access that we are discussing. So why we need to give the access to the employees? So if new employees are joining, we need to give the access on their job functionality, on their job roles. Okay, related to their job roles, we can provide the access to those employees to the AWS services. So that kind of access is managed by this identity and access management service. Okay, so so what we can do is we can see so how we can able to give the access to the employees, that the new employees or the employees in the organization, that they can use this AWS services. Okay, let's start with this. So what we need to do is first we need to open, let's say you can open the Google, and in the Google you can type AWS console. Okay, what you need to type? AWS console. So you can open this AWS console. If you are interested to switch your career in AWS, then you can choose as per your interest. You can choose the certifications. But what is the benefit of this certification? By this certification, you can able to hands-on all the services, almost multiple services of the AWS, and you can able to design the solution, architect solutions for your organizations. Okay, that will definitely save the cost of organization. Now you can see this is the AWS Web Service Provider console. Okay, we need to type in the Google AWS console. Then we need to click on that first link, that is aws.amazon.com. Here we can open this. Now here, what we need to do, first we need to create an account. If you already created account, you can directly sign in to the console. But if you don't have account on the AWS services, that is Amazon Web Services, you need to first create account. So if I click on create free account, so you can see there is we can create account. So here for creating account, it will ask the root user email address. Now what is this root user? Root user is the main user, main creator. Okay, here you can give the email ID of that person. Let's say suppose if I write my email ID, okay, this Kocher Karishma9@gmail.com. Then you can give the name of your account. What will be the name of your account? If you are creating account on this AWS console, so what will be the name of your account? Let's say my name will be like this. Okay. Now, what is the next step? It will ask verify email address. If I click on verify email address, this will be the step for creating an account on AWS. So in this way, we can create an account on AWS. So now let's open my Gmail account here. So it will send me some verification code. So I need to check that verification code. So before that, the account is different. Na? Yeah. What was the email ID? Here we can put, yeah, this one. So I need to copy this email ID from here. I need to paste over there. Click on next. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So, okay, just a minute. Hold on. Yeah. So this you can see. So here, once you click the verify code, so there will be what we can say here. We can get the verification code, and after we get this correct sign in of the Gmail account, we get a verification code. We have to put this. We have to verify it, and after we verify it, we need to add some details like Aadhaar card number, PAN card number, credit card number. So it will be take a charge from us. Initially, when you create account first time, it will be take a charge from us. Okay, that will be the refundable charge, that $1. Okay, that is refundable completely. So we need to fill all this detail. We need to complete that procedure. It is a very simple procedure actually. Normally we can open account on like a Gmail or any other platform. Same thing it will be, but we need to give the some information like we need to give the credentials for PAN card, credit card. Then it will deduct $1 from our credit card. Okay, and then it will be activate our account. So this is the procedure to create a root account. Root account is the main account. Okay, so now in my case, if I already created account, rather than creating a new account, I directly go to the sign in process. Okay, I directly go to the sign in process, login process, because my account is already created and I need to put the credentials over there. Now here, when you are doing sign in, it will ask, you can sign in with the help of root user. Root user means main user. When you choose root user, you need to give the email ID. But if you choose IAM user, you have to provide a 12-digit account number. That will be account ID, 12-digit account ID. What is the difference between this root user and IAM user, guys? So root user is the main user. It is compulsory created when we are first using this AWS platform. Always when you created your root account, that first whenever you sign up your account, so it should be treated as root user. But IAM user is the users you are adding sub user inside your main user. Root user is your main user and IAM user are sub users. Okay, so root user. So what we can do first, we need to sign in with the help of main user. Now, karishma.kocher@novelvista.com. It is email address for my root user account, for my main user account. And after once I log in with main user, then and then I'm able to create sub users. And then I'm able to give the permissions of the AWS services to this sub user. For the root user, we have multiple permissions, all the permissions. Let's say the root user or main user can able to access all the services, but the IAM user is not able to access all the services. We can decide for the IAM user or for the sub user which service accesses should be we can provide to this sub user. That will be decided by the root user. That will be decided by the main user. So one is main user and other are sub users. Whenever you create account on AWS, so you should be consider as a root user, and inside a root user you can create a multiple IAM users, and you can decide the whatever permissions we need to give this sub user or IAM users. But for the root user can able to access all the services of AWS. Okay, click on next. Okay, then password. So what will be the password? So we can fill that password here. Let's say this is my password. So actually I created this account, and from this account I got this password. Once I log in successfully, you can able to see I'm able to access this console. So this console is nothing but dashboard. This is the AWS services dashboard where we have multiple services and we can choose our as per our requirements, we can choose the services. Now you can see this is a console. If I log in successfully, yeah, it's not audible for everyone. I got one reply in the chat that voice is not audible. Yeah, it's audible now.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so now you can see I log in successfully. I already created a root user account. I done all this steps, that is credit card number and PAN card number. All these things we need to complete. And once we complete this, we are able to sign in. And once we are able to sign in, we can see this is the dashboard of the AWS services, where we have this dashboard. In the dashboard, you can see recently visited, means whatever services you used previously in your account, that will be listed inside this tab. That is recently visited services. Then applications are there. Applications means whatever applications that we are posting on AWS platform, the list of applications is there. Then after that, what exactly we have is, then it is a cost. Okay, so definitely, let's say if you purchase the hardware, if you purchase the physical servers, we have to spend lots of money for this physical server. But if we use this virtual servers that is provided by cloud providers like AWS, so definitely the cost is less. Okay, the cost will be less. So this will be the cost. Okay, so AWS is provide pay as you go, means how much time you can utilize these AWS services, you need to pay as per that. Okay, you need to pay charges as per hour, we can say, or as per usage. How much we use, that much we need to pay. So this is the your billing, cost billing. So your billing for this particular month is $3.75. You can see they can calculate a cost as per your service usage. Okay, for a month. But it is less as compared to physical setup, physical hardware, physical data servers. As compared to this, it is cheaper. Okay, so now why we are choosing IAM service, guys? Because we need to add sub user inside our account, and what we can do, we need to decide what kind of access we can provide to this sub users. So that sub users are nothing but IAM users. So what we can do, we have to first create, let's say, what case study we discussed in previous, that we discussed. Suppose if we have a 10 employees that are joining in the organization, and we need to provide the access to those 10 employees. Okay. From these 10 employees, let's say 2 employees are developers, 3 employees are cloud practitioners, 2 employees are managers. Okay, these kinds of things are there. So we need to provide the access related to their job role for the AWS services. What kind of work they can perform, based on that work, we can provide access. Okay, so here let's create user. So let's say, first, if I create a group for developers, so we have to create one group. So what is a group? So in the group, we can add a multiple employees that are belong to same access. Okay, those who are working on same access. So developers, if I talk about developers, so developers, all the developers is having same kind of access required for AWS services. So rather than creating a separate access, what I did is simple. I create one group for the developers, and in that developers group, what exactly the access will be provided. Let's say for developers, if I want to give RDS related access. Okay, RDS services, database related service. So developer are working on database, right? So, or developers are working on coding kinds of things. So if coding kinds of things is there, Ubuntu coding or some another coding. Okay. So I need to give the access as per their job functionality. Let's say developer wants to create a Ubuntu application. So what we can do is we can give the EC2 instance access. So EC2 is a service. What is the role of this service? It will provide, or it will create a virtual server. It will give the virtual machine, and on that virtual machine we can able to launch our application. We can able to create our application on this virtual machine. So if I choose the administrator access, now you can see this is the policies. Now policies means what? First we have to create a group. If I created a group, my group name is developers. What will be the next step? I need to give the permission to that group. So all the developers can able to access all the services. So that is the scenario. Then what I need to do? I need to give the administrator access. So administrator access means what? They can able to access all the AWS services within the AWS premises. Okay, that is the administrator access. If I provide to this developer, so developer are able to access all the services inside the AWS, and they can able to work with all the services. So that is done. Okay. So policies, if I discuss, now we have selected administrator access policies. So what is the policies, guys? Policies is nothing but a permission, set of permission that we are given to a particular user or a group of users. Okay. So there are 3 types of permissions. First is AWS manage job function permissions. Okay, what is it? That is related to your AWS accounts, like administrator access, billing access, database access. Okay, administrator access means what? You can able to access all the AWS services. Then after that, system administrator access, view only access. So that are the permissions, set of permissions that we can give to the particular user or group of users. Second is AWS managed policies. So in the AWS managed policies, we can specially give the particular service. Let's say suppose EC2 service, S3 service. S3 is a storage service. Suppose if I need to give the access related to S3 service, so I can give inside this AWS managed category. And the third is customer managed, custom. We can create our own permission also, create policy. If I write create policy, okay, there will be 2 formats. You can choose a service. Let's say I want to create a policy for EC2 service. I want to give the read access to the employees who belongs to developer group. Okay, if I choose anyone from this, let's say, okay, suppose if I want to give this kinds of access to the employees, and then I can Simply click on next. You can define your own policies as well. So there will be two formats. Either you can choose visual, either you can choose JSON format. So basically JSON, I don't know some of from you. Yeah, what is the difference between IAM? IAM is to create the multiple users, and we need to, it will give the, your question is Ajit, right? So Ajit, IAM will create a multiple users, and IAM will provide the different credentials for each user. And IAM identity access will give the single URL for the multiple users. So from the single URL, we can easily manage the login of multiple user. That is the difference. IAM will give the different login credential for each user, and IAM identity access will give the single URL. And from the single URL, we are able to access all the users. That is the difference between IAM and IAM identity access management. We'll discuss all the things in detail. Okay. But now we have to cover this. You can see, let's say, suppose I need to discuss the policy format first. What is policy? How exactly the policy will be applicable. So if you see administrator access policy here, let's say, now we are given administrator access policy to the developers group. Okay. If we open the structure, okay, let's say here, you can see what is the role of this. It provides the full access to AWS services and resources. It will give the access. Now here, there will be, now you can see the format is there. Simply, if I click, now you can see it will be in the JSON format. So JSON is the one of the coding standard JavaScript object notation. If you are familiar with JSON, you can able to understand this. So this is the policy structure. It is a set of permission structure. Okay, so we need to give the permissions to the employees, right? So if we need to give the permissions to the employees, we need to define some permissions. Okay, either it is in what we can say, the permissions we need to define. So this permissions we can define in the format of JSON. Okay, so JSON, in the JSON, if you can see, this is the version. What is this version means? Version is the version of your policy document, permission set document, statement where you can define the statement. Inside that, effect is there. There will be two types of effect. Either you can allow, either you can deny. Allow means you are able to access each and everything inside your AWS services. That means allow. If I write here deny, deny means not allowed. Action. Action means you can able to perform. Now here initially it is star. Star means we can able to perform any kind of action on any resources, any kind of resources. But if I write here, if I modified this, let's say, let me show you how we can modify this. We can customize this policy as per our requirement as well. So for that, let's say what I need to do, I need to copy this and I need to write over there. Now you can see this is a version. Version means policy document version when this policy is created. And statement means here you can define the permission statements where effect is allow or deny. Action. If I write like this, let's say suppose if list bucket. Okay, means what? Now what it will do, it will only perform the action on S3 service. Okay, it will perform the action on S3 service. List bucket means whatever buckets are created inside the S3 service, that will be listed. Now, next, if I write here S3 ARN something, let's say SS AWS. So what it will do, resource means on which bucket. So there are, let's say suppose if in the S3 service, there are hundreds of buckets. And from this hundreds of bucket, we need to fetch a particular bucket. We need to perform the operation on the particular bucket. So we need to mention that particular bucket name inside this resource. Resource means AWS resource. Either it is S3 bucket, EC2 instance. Okay. So here, let's say suppose if I need to perform the operation on single bucket from hundreds of bucket, then I need to mention the name of that bucket over there. So that is called resource. An action means it will perform the action only on S3 buckets. It will not perform the actions on any other services of the AWS. Star means all. It will perform the actions on all services. It will take all the resources from any service. Okay, that is the thing. We can modify it. We can modify as per our requirement like this. This is the policy document. Okay, so this is the nothing but simple JSON format. If you're familiar with JSON format, you are able to modify this. You are able to write this, customize this, or you can create your own permission set for the grant the permission to the users and sub users. You can do that. Okay, if you're aware with this JSON format, like this, you can edit. So that's all about your policy format. Okay, that we are discussing. So let's move to the practical. What we did now, we create one group, developers. In that group, we can give the administrator access. Now we need to create a users. So how we can create a users? So let's say here, let's say suppose if I create, my first user is Devish. Okay, my first username is Devansh. Let's say now username we need to mention. Now user is a sub user whom we have to give the access. Now it will ask, you need to provide the management console option. You have to give the access to the AWS console. Yes, I need to provide the access to AWS console. Now it will ask, you want to create a IAM user, sub user. Yes, I want to create a sub user. You want to choose, now it will ask, you want to choose auto generated password or custom password. I have to choose auto generated password in my case. Now, what will be the next? It will ask you have to change the password on the next sign in. So if once you allocate auto generated password to user, now you have to give authority to user that user can able to change their own password. Yes or no? It is depends on you. In my case, I'm not able to give the access that user can change their password. So I just uncheck that box and I click on next. And once I click on next, it will ask, now you need to add a user to group. Yes, I need to add that particular Devansh to the group of developers. Now that Devansh is added to the group of developers. Now, after this, what we need to do is we need to create a user. Okay, so in this way, successfully we created user, we added user inside a developer group, and also we give the administrator access to that user Devansh. Okay, and here, for let's say suppose if I need to log in for Devansh, let me check. What we need to do, either we can copy this credential, this is a login credential for the Devansh, or either we can download the Excel file, credential file for the Devansh. Now quickly check. We need to sign out from our root account and we need to sign in from the Devansh credentials. Now we'll check Devansh is able to access all the services or not, or whatever services in the AWS Devansh is able to access or not. So let's quickly check. So what we can do is we can copy this URL. Okay, so all the detailed things, once the training is start, actually we can go through in the much detail for the all the services. Okay, but here, so let's we are try to sign in with the Devansh credential, the whatever credential that we downloaded, we just copy the username over there. This is my username Devansh. Okay, and this is my password. That will be auto generated password. Now we can copy this and we can click on sign in. Now, perfectly, we are signing with the Devansh credentials. Now we can check Devansh is able to access all the services because we give the administrator access. Administrator access means it is able to access all the resources, all the services. So let's say if I open S3 perfectly, we can able to access that. You can see we can able to perform any kind of operation related to this S3 services. Then if I click on EC2, perfectly, we can able to access the EC2 services. So in this way, we can create a sub users or IAM users or user groups, and we can assign the permissions to them as per their job functionality. So hope, okay. So hello. So that's it for the webinar. Actually, we have a time bound limit. Okay. So it's already 12:56. So what we can do is now I need to hand over the control to the Mayuri. So Mayuri can conclude about the further details for the detailed training and everything. So we just quickly recap the things. The IAM service, what is exactly the IAM services? There will be much deeper things inside this service, but once the actual trainings will start, we can study all these services in much depth. Okay. So today in the today's webinar, we just concluded whatever AWS is and what is the different services will be, what domains are there that services will be provided, and we discuss the IAM service. Okay.
Yes, Karishma. Thank you so much for this session.